Colombo, Sri Lanka is a city built on movement. It's the capital and it's a meeting point. For centuries, people from every part of Sri Lanka have passed through here, bringing their language, traditions, and food with them. In this 3-part series, I'm meeting local chefs in their family-run kitchens to understand how those stories live on in the city, not through trends, but through everyday cooking. Our first stop is Olai Manai, a family-run Jaffna-style restaurant where the owner invites me into her kitchen to cook dishes passed down from her mother. For her, this isn't just food, but a project built on memory from home and sustainability. Jaffna is the cultural heart of Sri Lanka's Tamil community, located on the north of the island just across the sea from India. Jaffna cuisine is shaped by a dry climate and a very specific food philosophy. Decades of displacement carried these Tamil food traditions south, and Colombo became one of the places where they were preserved best.
So I'm Vanity Wilson. I'm owner of Olai Manai. Olai means palm. We denote the Palmyra palm. Manai means it's home. So what we try to do here is just not the food itself, but also give an experience, because Jaffna food is more like coming to your home and having a meal.
Jaffna food is from the north of Sri Lanka.
That's
so
right.
What makes Jaffna food specific?
You have 4 different parts in Jaffna. So where my mother comes from is the topmost point called Point Puttu, a village called Tumbale, and my father comes from Kokuville. But if you really look at the way the food is made, there is also a very subtle difference, and there is also a very distinct difference in terms of the food that we make.
The first dish we're preparing is red rice string hoppers. The process begins with red rice being soaked, dried, and milled into a fine flour. That flour is mixed with hot water and a bit of salt until it forms a soft, pliable dough. The dough is pressed through a traditional wooden string hopper mold, creating fine noodles that are layered into small, round mats. These are then steamed briefly, just until set. The result is light but hearty, with a nutty depth from the red rice. Red rice string hoppers are often served with sambals, lentil curries, vegetable dishes, or fish-based gravies. They're designed to soak up flavor, acting as a quiet base for stronger accompaniments.
So when I conceptualized what I wanted to do, and especially the brand itself, I wanted to make sure that there is authenticity in the food, but also it's a responsible brand. We are 100% eco-friendly. We work towards sustainability. So as you see, this pack is made out of the Palmyra leaf. It's a dry leaf, it's woven, and these are done by the Barbados. And it's a pack that I designed so that when we wrap our food in the banana leaf, this will keep it intact. When we did this, we also thought it's not only just to help yourself, but we also try to help the community, help the people around us. We work with a lot of women-headed household, and the spices that we get also are mainly from Jaffna, most of the spices. And then the main ingredient, the curry powder, is something that we make here, and those are my grandmother's and my mother's, and actually my father was a very good cook too.
Okay.
So these are the recipes that had been handed down and then it's brought to the table. So what you get here is usually what we have at home in Jaffna.
Next, we try a Jaffna specialty, nitapati puttu, a traditional dish that carries the spirit of puttu, which we'll eat later, but mixed with vegetables, herbs, and dried fish.
For example, this puttu, they all know this as nitapati puttu, but when we make it in Jaffna, in my mother's hometown, we mix different types of ingredients which can be found in the area because it's a coastal area. So we use dry fish, and the vegetable, so that it's healthy and it's steamed. And it's not only just the rice that you eat, you can have this for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
And lastly, we finish with classic puttu, one of Sri Lanka's most iconic dishes. In the south of Sri Lanka, it's called pitu, in the north, puttu. Red rice flour is mixed again with salt and water just to form a loose crumble. Then, fresh grated coconut is layered with the flour inside of a large cylindrical mold. It used to be made out of bamboo, now it's often made out of steel or some sort of cooking metal. The mold is steamed vertically, allowing hot vapor to rise through the mixture. This method cooks the rice gently while keeping the texture light and fluffy.
Okay, so Piers, this is
I'm
just
excited.
a little bit of Jaffna on the, and this is a sulahu.
Okay.
It's called the sulahu, where we actually, we pound the rice flour, mix it. This is what we use, and you can just enjoy your meal.
And always eaten with the hands.
Yes.
Homemade northern Sri Lankan Jaffna food. Very excited, very different than what you get in the central and south part of Sri Lanka, definitely where I'm staying. So very interested in trying. It's all things I've seen before, but with a totally different variation. So let's start with the string hoppers. When you have string hoppers, you're supposed to actually mash them up and then put all of the curries or toppings on top of it. At least that's what I've seen locals do. So we've got some of the different sides here. We've mixed everything up, and let's give it a try. The red rice string hoppers definitely have more texture than the normally white ones that you get around Colombo. Really nice, deep, rich flavors. Really good chili. Everything in this country is a little bit spicy, a little bit interesting, and they hit you with the texture, the flavors, the spice, the sugar level. It's all like really harmonious and super delicious. So the P2 is really interesting because it's like sort of a tubular rice dish with coconut, and then it's topped with this very thin coconut sauce. So it's sort of sweet and savory, but then they eat it normally with spicy food, so it has a nice mix as well. So let's give it a shot. It's a lot lighter. It has like some of that. It's almost like Sri Lankan couscous. It has like a little texture to it. It's these little like grainy balls that you saw them make. It's rich and deeper because of the coconut that they use, and then you put the coconut milk on top. Very, very delicious. So now we're gonna try the nitapati puttu, the house dish that is very specific to the region that the owner is from. And it's got a whole bunch of vegetables as well as, a whole bunch of vegetables as well as the puttu that we just had. So let's give it a try. I'm very curious about this dried fish as well. It's definitely got that fish back. You can definitely taste a lot of the fish, but it also has the eggplant, which you can really taste, and then mixed in with the coconut. It's just got like a lot of textures and flavors. Again, very, very beautiful food. And to top it all off, we're going to try the mutton curry, which they just put on everything, and just gonna go for it with kind of just everything mixed in the middle, because that's honestly what I've seen Sri Lankans do. The mutton is spicy and deep and rich and like just really, really savory and delicious. And with all the variation of textures and flavors, it's like it's one banana leaf, but it's like a lot of things going on. Delicious. And to finish off, they do a homemade ginger beer here. Ginger is all over the Indian subcontinent, but ginger beer has become very popular ever since the time where the English were here. Probably before that, they were fermenting ginger beer. So let's give it a try. Ooh, it's sweet, it's strong, very gingery, very aromatic. Just like everything here punches you in the face and it just goes to 11, and I just love that about Sri Lanka. This is some of the best food in the world, and every time I sit down, I'm just always blown away.
So that's why we created that here as well. So these are the furniture that I brought from my ancestral home. That's where my grandmother's bed, a few chairs and a few furniture, just to give that look and feel apart from the food, so that when you sit here, it's just not the food itself, but you are recalled of your home in Jaffna.
Okay.
So what's so sad about it is just the war has kept everything, away from us. So food is one thing that we can go back and recall and, try to relive what we have missed so far. And it's also a kind of reconciling process. So now we see a lot of people from the south, foreigners, people who have left Sri Lanka, coming back and wanting to enjoy a very authentic food. I think the biggest compliment that I would get is not just the food is nice or tasty or whatever, but what they say is, oh, it reminds me of my grandmother's cooking or my mother's cooking. So I feel that, so when I hear that, I feel very honored, and I think I've, done justice to what, the food itself.